Hello everyone. Today I'm here to explain you all the very new poem, that is poem number 3, A Tiger in the Zoo. So before starting up the poem now, let me get introduced for you all today's poet. His full name is George Leslie Norris, 1921 to 2006. So his period is from 1921 to 2006. He was a prize winning Welsh poet. In the sense, we have to understand that he is very well versed. And short story writer, he is considered as most important Welsh writer of the post war period, and his literary works have won many prizes. His famous work are Finding Gold, The Loud Winder, Phoenix Living Poets series, that is Ransoms. So these are the little few works have been given out which has been done by him, and he has won up many of the prizes for his literary works, and he is well known as a Welsh and a short story writer. So he has written up a poem called as A Tiger in the Zoo. So it is the poem number 3. So let's begin with the poem, and I'll be helping you out for understanding the poem now. So we are learning today, that is A Tiger in the Zoo. So what is this poem is all about? So let me explain you all regarding the poem. So before that, I would like to get introduced you all for the brief introduction of the poem. So that is the poem, it is written up by Leslie Norris, that is George Leslie Norris. He explains the agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. The poet explains what his life could be if he had been a free animal. The poet even tries to say that, and he also tries to explain about the condition of the animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. Yes, today what we see are the zoos where the animals are being caged up and in an unrestricted way. They are helpless and they could not express anything. Instead, they will be just obeying the words and the orders and the commands given up by the zookeeper. So let's see and dig into the poem and see up what kind of a poem this is about. So as I already told you, so this poem explains the condition of a tiger, especially one wild animal which expresses its sadness and cannot do anything because it's helpless and it is caged. So let's see. The first para begins like this. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. So he stalks, it's nothing but he is followed up with his vivid, that is very bright color. It refers to the bright colored stripes on his body. So he just walks around, take the few steps of his in the cage itself. He is just taking a walk in the cage itself because it's completely, his movement is restricted and he has been put up in the cage. On the pads of the velvet quiet, in the sense, on the pads it's nothing but it refers to the paws of the tiger. And if it refers for the velvet, as we all know that the velvet, it refers for the softness and the smoothness. The paws, the smooth paws of the tiger, on his paws, he is just walking very quietly in the range. Rage, it's nothing but angriness. So in lots of anger, he is just walking inside the cage itself, which is followed up and given a description of the bright colorful stripes on his body. Then the poet even tries to tell that it's a mighty creature which is moving to and fro with his limited steps inside the cage, He moves quietly on his soft velvet pads, that is the paws, expressing his anger very quietly because all his freedom is locked inside the cage. So all his freedom has been locked inside the cage and he is helpless. He cannot do anything. Apart from being angry, he cannot do anything. Moving on to the next stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through a long grass near the waterhole where a plump deer passes. So the stanza consists of if he were free enough, what he would have done. Lurking, it's nothing but to be hidden as to wait for your prey. So he will be hiding up himself in the grass where he will be waiting for his prey. That's food before hunting. So and then he would be sliding through long grass near the waterhole. He would see a plump deer which passes by, and he was very free if he was in the jungle to go for its prey and hunt and eat food how much he needed. The poet tries to tell that if this tiger was free enough, he could have hid himself behind the long grasses near the water bodies so that he could easily catch a deer in order to have it as a food. Basically, the poet wants to say that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle where he could catch his prey and enjoy his meal. But the tiger now is caged and he cannot do anything. And hope you have understood the second stanza. Moving on to the third one. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. This also refers to where tiger, if he was in jungle, he would be doing it. He would be snarling around the houses. Snarling, it's nothing but the warning sounds given up by the wild animals especially. At the jungle edge, that is the outskirts of the city or before starting up the jungle edge, he would be baring his white fangs. Fangs are nothing but the tooth of an animal or the tooth which will be visibly from the mouth of the animal. Baring, it's nothing but uncovered. So he would be giving out the warning sounds in which place? In the houses where it consists of the outskirts of the city. He would be physically appearing very kind of frightenedness for the people of the village by uncovering his mouth, that is includes the sharp tooth of him, and with his claws which will be very fearsome to look at him for the villagers. And the poet, he also tries to say that if the tiger would be free, he would have been snarled around the houses located at the outskirts of the forest. He would terrorize the people, in the sense frightening up the villagers. With the sharp tooth and claws, this would create fear among people living in the villages. So this is what the third paragraph briefs about. And moving on to the next. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind the bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring the visitors. Concrete, it's nothing but a building which is made out of bricks, cement, sand and water, which is very strong enough. And he is now locked in the concrete cell, and his strength is also behind the bars itself. And he's just have a liberty to walk inside the cage itself by ignoring the visitors. And the poet comes to the reality and he showcases the reality of the tiger in this paragraph, in the sense the stanza, that is inside the cage, that is the tiger inside the cage. He says that the tiger is confined in the strong cell, that is the concrete cell, which is made of strong building material. He further says that as the tiger is behind the bars, So his ferociousness is also behind the bars. He just stuck inside the cage itself. He never tries to terrorize in the sense fear up the visitors because his power is restricted by the cage. Therefore, we have to understand that he never tries to terrorize the visitors as he cannot attack them. So it's a waste of thing. So the matter of entertainment is totally different from what he is experiencing now. Now, by this, what we have to understand that Tiger is so sad and he is helpless and he cannot move freely and have his food and enjoy his freedom. The last stanza. He hears the last voice at the night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So the poets try to tell in this paragraph what he does in the night time when he is fed up with the visitors and what he does further. He tries to and he hears the last voice at night, that is the patrolling guards. That's nothing but the guards who will be moving in and around, especially in the night times. So he can, that is the tiger can hear clearly the voice of the cars, that is the patrolling cars, and he stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So the option he has only to look up the sky and only the limited area surrounding of the cage. So he looks up the sky just to get diverted from his thoughts and the sadness. He looks up to the sky. The poet says that in this stanza that in the night time the tiger hears the sound of the patrolling cars. That is the cars or the vehicles of the guards which are used to guard at the night time. So in the night the tiger hears the sound of these cars. He then stares at the shining stars with his shining eyes. The poet, he wants to say that the tiger is so sad and he is confined in the cage. As he cannot do anything, therefore he stares at the stars in the night and tries to get diverted from the thoughts towards them. And then finally, he just reveals that if we confine the tiger or any other wild animal, they'll be very sad enough. Though they doesn't speak, but they expresses their feelings with their action of movements. So this is up to the poem, A Tiger in the Zoo. Hope you all understood. So please to revise the poem. So I'll be meeting you up in a next video. So till by then, happy learning.